The careers with the highest demand, highest pay, and opportunities to work at home for people who are blind or visually impaired like me are in digital accessibility. That's why we created the Certified Accessibility Tester Program. That's right, Accessibility Officers, 14-week instructor-led, fully remote, online digital accessibility job training program. It's a VR program where you get trained, you get certified. Guess what? You get a job. So to find out if you qualify, go to accessibilityofficer.com.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 138 of the Eyes Free Sports podcast. My name is Greg Lindberg. Here on this episode, we are joined by three ladies who are part of the most recent all-female Beep baseball team to come together, and they actually just recently competed at the first Beep baseball tournament of the 2025 season, and I think you'll really enjoy hearing about their backgrounds, the Beep baseball teams that they normally play with, how the tournament fared in terms of their team, as well as kind of looking ahead to the future of more women's teams within Beep baseball and sports in general. So let's go ahead and grab our bats and hit the field for episode 138 of the Eyes Free Sports podcast. All right, so here on this episode of Eyes Free Sports, we are talking about the Vibin Vixens. And if you're not familiar with the Vixens, they're a pretty new all-female Beep baseball team within the National Beep Baseball Association. And so we have three members of the team joining us here on this episode. So first, I would like to introduce Ashley Melero. Ashley, tell us about yourself.
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Ashley Melero, and I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a full-time member of the Austin Blackhawks. I've been a Blackhawk since I started beep ball in 2019, first World Series in 2021. So I like to say still kind of new to beep ball, but some people wouldn't say so. I have retinitis pigmentosa. I was born with RP, red braille, and used a cane my entire life. I am the Education and Outreach Manager at the ARC of Texas here in Austin. My background is in social work. I don't have any kids or anything like that, but I do have pets and nieces and nephews, so I stay busy with that.
Awesome. Definitely a full plate, it sounds like there, Ashley. Okay, so let's move on to Faith Penn. Faith, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm Faith Penn. I live and work here in Austin, Texas. A little about me. I am an employment discrimination mediator and arbitrator. I can't talk, arbitrator. My home team is the Austin Blackhawks as well. I've been playing for a very long time. I've been playing since 2013. That was my very first World Series. I actually started in 2012, didn't go, but in 2013 was my very first World Series in Georgia. So that was a lot of fun. I grew up with glaucoma and actually went completely blind due to a detached retina from a blow to the face from a soccer ball. So that was just freak accident, but stuff happens. Like Ashley, I do not have any children, but I have lots and lots and lots of nieces and one nephew, poor Mason. But thank you for having me here.
Awesome. And last but definitely not least, we have Dakota Hogwood. Dakota, welcome.
What's up? I'm Dakota. I'm from Philadelphia. I play full time for the Philadelphia Fire. Have been a part of beep ball for quite a long time now, probably around like 2000, I'll say 13 or so, or around then. I was around it for a while, and then I started playing myself in 2021, where I went to my first World Series with the Fire. And I also, like Ashley, I have RP. I work full time in the Business Enterprise program. I got a little convenience store and a few vending machines that keep me busy all the time. And just like the two of them, I've got no kiddos, but I got my fur babies and two little nephews and a niece on the way, which is exciting. But yeah, that's pretty much about me. Thank you for having me on here, though.
Absolutely. And definitely big shout out to the Philly Fire, defending NBBA champions, World Series champs, trying to defend their title now in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so why don't we just dive into the Vibin Vixens? So whoever wants to start, just I'm curious about like the idea for this team. Obviously, the Sirens team now has been around for a year and a half or so, maybe 2 years. Kind of the first all-female beat baseball team. But how did the Vixens? How did the idea for them kind of become born?
The Vixens kind of came about just after this World Series. Well, actually, in a tournament last June, somebody came to me and asked me to make a team for the Vegas tournament for with an all-women player team, and so after the World Series, I started figuring it out, and I reached out to some of the ladies that I would have loved to see out there on the field with me and play some ball together. And slowly but surely throughout the off season, we figured it out and we got ourselves a team together by the tournament in Vegas, and we had a good time. Definitely good outcome.
Very cool. Anyone else want to chime in on that one?
Yeah, just to congratulate Dakota. Dakota did a really good job with organizing all of this. When she approached me about possibly playing with the team, I was a little bit hesitant at first, but and she asked me to reach out to anybody else who I thought would be interested. And I just started sending texts out to anybody who I thought was interested, and we are those of us who said yes, worked really closely with Dakota, and we were able to pull it together. And a lot of people were asking us, "Oh yeah, are you guys going to go to the World Series, or what are you guys doing? What is this?" And it was amazing how much support we got or we received from people and other teams who wanted us to be a team within the league. And when we were explaining, no, we're just doing this for the Vegas tournament. There's awes, and there was a lot of awing and, oh, really, you should go forward and do this and things of that nature. But that's not why Dakota explained to me why she put it together. It was specifically for that tournament. And we went out there, we had fun, and, I hope we have an opportunity to do it again.
Excellent. So I'm definitely curious about the name Vibin Vixens. How did you guys come up with that really cool name?
That name has Dakota Hogwood written all over it. This is her baby. She came up with that name, and it's for sure Dakota.
Yeah, I threw out a couple of options in the group chat and everything, and was asking everybody opinions on different things like that. And the Vixens team name, I think Winter actually threw the Vixens out there, but I'm corny and I like to have it where it's like two different, you got Philly Fire, you got Austin Blackhawks, so we're the Vibin Vixens because we're not from anywhere, so we just threw Vibin in front of that and rode with it.
Yeah, I think we actually started out with it being East Coast something, right? And then it was like, oh man, we had so many people from Texas. It was something where we had to kind of change the location part of it, but we wanted to still have two names, or two parts to our name, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and gotta love the VV, kind of that alliteration too, right? So I understand you guys, I should say you ladies are from all over the U.S., so I'm curious if you want to just kind of shout out, if you know offhand, kind of the roster, the coach, the coaches that you've had involved here.
Well, okay. Huge shout out to Fonzie Madrano, or Alfonso Madrano. He was our pitcher. Awesome. If you don't know his name, shame on you. Fonzie is a great person, great pitcher. He was awesome. He was very positive and was eager to help us. Also to our pitcher, is it David Sanchez? He actually reached out to Dakota directly, right, Dakota? Or to Fonzie directly.
Yes.
And asked if he could be the pitcher. And we brought him on. So, big shout outs to those two for sure. We would not, we wouldn't have been able to play at all without those two. Also to our spotters, we had 3 this time. We had, Bree, and we had Holly and Lisa. And they helped out in not just spotting, but in other ways as well. They helped with the live stream. They helped with, making sure that we had everything in order and getting where we're supposed to go. They drove for us. So, I mean, again, none of this could have came to fruition without these awesome. I don't like the differentiate between volunteers and players. I feel like they're part of the team. So, but that's just me. I feel like we wouldn't be able to do any of this without any of our sighted people.
Yeah, and then in terms of our roster, you were asking about, we had obviously the 3 of us, and then we had Karen. She, I believe, normally plays with Boston Strong. We've got Winter, who I also think plays with Boston Strong, and then We've got Yatsiri. I don't know if she belongs to a team right now, but she's been around beatball a couple times. She won an award like her first year. I think it was like a rookie award or something. I don't know. The
Yeah,
first year.
rookie of the
Yeah,
year.
there we go.
Yep.
We had Sarai. She plays with us here in Austin Blackhawks. Pam, she also is an Austin Blackhawk. Shelby, what's her story, Faith? You know more.
Her last team, Shelby's last team was with the um what is it, Atlanta Eclipse, and they're no longer the Eclipse anymore. Now they're the, what are they? What's their new name? Um
Chaos.
Atlanta something. Chaos, correct.
Mhm.
Yeah, Atlanta Chaos. She's not playing with the Chaos, but when she was in beat baseball, she was with the Eclipse. Right now, I don't think she has a team. I think she's just around it, due to whoever she knows within beat baseball.
And I think that was all nine of us.
Nice. So definitely quite a variety. It sounds like, all over the country, kind of coast to coast, and several different teams and a lot of different backgrounds, maybe some, more so newbies and veterans as well. It sounds like, right?
Yeah, I think what was really cool about our roster, we've had a lot of people, like Faith said, talk to us about, what are y'all doing? And even more so people, sad now, I think that we're not playing at the World Series as a team. But what was really cool about this particular roster, is that it really was made up of a lot of ladies who hadn't played together before. And people kind of knock that and they say, well, a lot of y'all are Austin Blackhawks. That is true, but there hasn't been a lot of opportunity for all of us to be on the field at the same time, all playing together. We have a variety of, players. We have a variety of amount of time that we've all been playing, but it doesn't mean that we've all been on the same field at the same time, or we have to figure out how to play together. And so it was really cool to see that, we had those teammates who are used to being teammates, but not necessarily used to being on the field. And then we've got, I've never gotten to play with Dakota ever. And she was behind me most of the tournament in some capacity. And so it was cool to just, get to learn from each other and figure out how to make it work when we honestly didn't ever have a full practice before we showed up in Vegas either. We were teaching things on the fly and going with it and just seeing what happens. And so we were really excited and blessed with the outcome that we had. But I am curious to see what that would have looked like if we had practiced more together or seen each other before we just all landed in Vegas.
Yeah, such a great point. Just having to kind of, get that chemistry going ASAP, like any group, it takes time to kind of build that chemistry and camaraderie and just get to know personalities and strengths and everything. So definitely hats off to you guys for just kind of, like you said, landing in Vegas, landing in Sin City and going, balling out. So speaking of Vegas, so the first official beat baseball tournament of the season, the Las Vegas beat ball tournament, was held just a few weeks ago, and so I know you guys did compete in that. So just kind of talk us through that tournament and your experience in that tournament.
I think we all had a lot of fun. Like Ashley said, all of us never really had an opportunity to meet up and practice. Some of the ladies who play with the Austin Blackhawks, we were practice, but it wasn't a quote Vixen practice. It was an Austin Blackhawks practice. So even then, we didn't have an opportunity to play. So when we got there to the when we got to Vegas, I think there was a lot of nerves. We were nervous. We're going to be playing against, bigger teams. And we were realistic. We knew that we weren't going to play, but we were just excited just to have the opportunity to play against some of these teams, and try to put up some runs. And like, we were thrilled when we were able to, get runs on like the Philly Fire and the Thunder and teams like that we wouldn't normally play, even if we were with our home teams. Well, at least I wouldn't normally play if we were with our home teams. So it was just, for me, it was a great opportunity. I had a lot of fun, a lot of experience, a lot of things to learn and grow from. I was learning and growing with a different pitcher, different from Molly. And it was interesting to the type of feedback that we received from one pitcher to, than the other pitcher. So that part was interesting. So I think for me, it was just a lot of nerves. And I think once I got there and actually got into it, the nerves did calm down. I did get frustrated with myself, but I'm my worst, biggest enemy here. So, but that's because I felt like that I could have been doing better. But that was just me just getting in my head. But other than that, I think for me, I really had a really good time. I enjoyed it. I mean, I really had an opportunity. Dakota was my roommate. I got a chance to know
Hey.
her a lot better because I knew her. We knew each other, yeah, because we worked on the Women of Our League stuff together. And occasionally we would hang out at the World Series, but not really, you know. So it was really great to get an opportunity to get to know Dakota, and to get to know some of the other girls from, I got a chance to know Karen. We have some things in common, and I'm excited to explore that friendship with her. And even the ladies on our team, for me, it was a different type of camaraderie than it was with the Blackhawks. So for me, I really enjoyed it. It was good to see Shelby. I hadn't seen Shelby in forever, and I was just really happy to see her and hang out and catch up with her. And then, I was I was like stoked that she got her first run. So I had a good time. I mean, and that's just me speaking from Faith's point of view.
No, I definitely had a good time. It was the energy of the team was better than I anticipated. Sometimes you go out there and you really don't know like what to expect or anything like that. But like on the field, there was just like automatic chemistry. Like I felt like we all had been playing together for a minute, even though, some of us were definitely still rusty and everything and whatever. But like we all just got out there, we all had a good time. And all of us got like mad playing time, mad playing opportunity. That's like we played 4 games and we um got to play up against the Philly Fire, which is my home team. So that was really cool and an experience to play up against my guys and put some runs up. We put a good bit of runs up that weekend too. And I don't think anybody expected us to put that many runs up in any of the games in reality. And we got up there, we got out there, and we were able to show people what we were able to do out there on the field. Like we can play some beat ball too. And it was a good time. And it was a really awesome feeling to go out there and get a win that weekend as well, which to go out first time, never playing together, and your first weekend, you guys get a win. That's an awesome feeling, awesome experience, and overall, it was just a dope time. And I definitely enjoyed meeting and learning all of the ladies out there because, like Faith and Ashley, they play on the same team, so they're teammates with all the other Blackhawks. But like I was the only Philly Fire one out there, so like I was able to really like meet other women in the league and all that, and just play some ball. So it was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I think not just go out there and get a win, but like to come out with fourth place, I think we were all kind of like, oh my gosh, we just did that, because we didn't expect that we were playing the third, fourth place game until Jason Frazier came and told us that. And he was talking to me and Dakota and he said that, and we're like, we're what? Okay. And so it was really cool, to get that win, to build those relationships. It was cool to see like it all come together. I think, we learned a lot of things. I should say, I learned a lot of things, but, I played a position I don't normally play, in regular play with the Blackhawks. I do play up front, but I usually play on the other side. And so when we first started talking about it and it was like, oh, you're gonna play in the four, I was like, I don't know if I can do that. And so Faith and Dakota were like, you're fine, you'll be able to do it. And so kind of getting the confidence to do that and just knowing I'll be okay doing that was really cool, to see that happen. And just to put it all together, it was neat. I don't think that I've ever been in a position where I was helping that much, helping make lineup decisions or decisions with where people playing on the field. And so we learned a lot about that. That was a really interesting experience. It makes you appreciate your sighted players more than you had before. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of things. We did some of them really well, and other ones were like, oops, messed that up. That was really heavy on one side and not so great on the other. So a lot of learning, and a lot of celebrating the fact that we were able to come out with what we did.
Awesome. Very cool. I'm curious, what would you ladies say is kind of the difference, maybe the big difference, or if a few differences come to mind, between playing on an all-female team versus a co-ed team?
Oh, I know. The first thing that comes to mind for me, at least, is that um, with all females team, we'll have an opportunity to play. I cannot speak for everybody else, but for me, that's the most beat ball I've played since I've been since I've been with playing beat baseball. So I think that if it was co-ed, I think that I may be, I might have played like maybe, and I'm being generous here, maybe 3 innings. So in my opinion, I think that if it's co-ed, I would get less playing time rather than if it was, more all female, I'll get more playing time. That's what I think.
Yeah, I can definitely agree that that's a big difference. Like, granted, I get some playing time, but never have I played like all weekend, all 4 games, both sides of the ball. Like, I can definitely agree that that's a big difference in playing on a women's and a men's team or co-ed team, shall I say.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. That's probably the biggest difference. I mean, I love playing with the Blackhawks for sure, and I'm fortunate to be one that does play often. But I only play on one side. I usually field. My bat just isn't. You know what? We've got guys that are stronger than me, hit harder than me, and personally, I've always been okay with that, just because I know my place on the field, and I'm more of a defensive player, and I'm good with that. But man, mad respect for people who play a whole week, game after game, because my body after 4 games, I was like, oh, this is what it's like to play on both sides of the ball. That kind of hurts a little bit or a lot. And so that was really that was an eye-opening experience. So shout out to y'all who just keep throwing yourselves on the ground and then throwing yourself on the ground at the base, because man, my body hurt for sure.
Oh, it's definitely painful.
No doubt. Yup. And I understand the Vixens and Sirens did play a game. I'm curious, what was that like having an all-female game? I think probably for the first time ever, aside from, say, the women of our league or some of these other events.
I feel like you could definitely tell that it was more competitive between us and the Sirens than it was, say, against the Thunder. There was definitely a different feel in the competitiveness on the field. But it was really, really cool. It was a really fun experience, and both female teams got to go out there and play some ball. We scored some runs up against each other, and we all pretty much know, or not we all, but I pretty much know a good bit of the Sirens and everything. So like it was cool to be playing up against some of the girls that like I know and am cool with and stuff like that.
For me, I think that a lot of people put a lot of weight on this particular game just because it was the very first time that two female teams are were competing against each other outside of the women of our league. So I felt a bit of pressure. I wasn't there. I'm not the type of person that talks a lot of noise, like because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth or anything like that. So I don't talk a lot of noise like in that sense. But I felt that there was a bunch of pressure. But when I got out there and actually just start playing and just let my mind go and just having fun, then the game definitely I loosened up a little bit and I was able to have a lot of fun. Like Dakota said, there were maybe one or two females that I know over on the Sirens, and it was great to chat with them and talk with them even afterwards, and even sometimes a little bit during the game. So it was cool to just to be on a different playing field and play with people who are I don't want to say on my level, but it was just great to play with people, another team that was closer to what closer to the level of competitiveness that we were at.
And Ashley, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can agree with what they were saying. It is something that it was much more of a level playing field, which is exciting, right? We got to see what we were capable of, where we were at, and we got to see, the Sirens grow and showcase themselves too, because it wasn't just about us, right? Like they've been in the league playing against teams where, they have had to play against all male teams, and it was cool to see them be able to showcase what they had too. Mari did great. She put a lot of balls in play, and so it was cool to see that. And for us all to have an opportunity to show what we could do was cool.
Yeah, Maury, that's my girl. She did really well. I was super proud of her.
Shout out to Mari. Hope you're listening. So looking ahead, let's talk about goals. I know one of you mentioned that as of now, this Vegas tournament was kind of the only one that the Vixens had circled on the calendar for 2025. Do you guys think that could change at some point?
I don't see us doing anything else here in 2025, but there is that possibility that we come back out for Vegas next year and do it again for the tournament out there in March. Make it our little like season opener for us and then go back with our regular teams. But that's the only thing we've has even slightly been discussed about too much of a future for the Vixens.
We're gonna get a lot of haters for that. but
Oh, for sure.
um but yeah, I will say, I mentioned this earlier. I'm happy with the Blackhawks. I like playing on that team. I have a lot of respect for our team, our coaches, our volunteers. Not that I don't for the Vixens, but for me personally, that's where I'm at with it. And I really did enjoy it. I'd be down to come back out and play in Vegas, but for me, as of this point, that's my team.
Yeah, similarly, Austin Blackhawks, that's 100% my home team. I'm not gonna lie, if I had an opportunity to play with an all-female team, that I was vibing with, Vibin Vixens, that I was vibing with, then I think that I might try it out. But I don't see that happening right now. I don't see that happening right now. Austin Blackhawks has been really good to me. I'm really happy with them. I'm really proud to say that I'm a Blackhawk. I really respect all our players, and I don't want to say volunteers, but our sided players. And I'm gonna be there, until I'm not,
Until they tell us to get out.
until they tell us to get out.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm also curious, just in general, like the importance of all female teams, whether it is the Vixens or Sirens, or maybe even in the future, other teams that might pop up. Why would you say that that's important to have, and maybe just more so in general, more female participation in beat baseball?
I mean, I'll just say personally, I would love to see a women's division of beat baseball. I think it would be fantastic. I think it would be something that the women can showcase what they can do. And, you know, I say that, but I'm also not opposed to having co-ed teams, right? But I do think that we have a lot of women in the league who don't get to show what they're capable of. And I think that we showed that in Vegas. And so I think that it would be cool to have a women's division. I don't think there's personally, I don't think there's any issue with that, or that's a bad thing. I'd love to see that happen. I'd love for women to showcase what they can do and play with the best of them. So if that happens, good on you, NBBA. That's something that would be really cool for women to be able to show that we can play.
Yeah, Ashley hit the nail on the head. I mean, same. I do wish there could be a women's league or a women's division within the NBBA, and if it happens, great. Count me in. I'm there. Um, but I think that I cannot talk. I think that it is important for women who are in the league to get out there to have an opportunity to show what they can do. You know, like Ashley said, we did. I think that some of that was showcased at the Vegas tournament, but still, I don't feel that that's enough, right? Women should be able to have an opportunity to play if they can play. I know that our home teams, they're very, 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 very competitive, and there's not a lot of opportunities for women to have the opportunities to go up to bat or to field or whatever it is whatever it is that is going on. So if there was a women's division or whatever, we'll have good we'll have good defensive players, we'll have good offensive players, and I think that we will be able to showcase what women in the NBBA can actually do instead of we're more than just bench warmers.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna agree with them both on with a women's division definitely is something that I would love to see in the future with NBBA. I'm not opposed to the co-ed playing or anything like that because I mean if you want to play with the guys, play with the guys, man. But if you want to go out there and play full time and actually be able to show your skills, like Faith said, not be a bench warmer. And some of us just playing on more equivalent level. like more fair playing grounds because we're playing up against women, these men are bigger and stronger built than us, so they're gonna crush it a little bit more than we are. So we get that
I don't know,
opportunity.
Dakota. You were hitting the ball pretty good out there, so I don't know.
Yeah, Dakota was killing it for sure. I mean, she did well. Um, it was cool to see that.
Yeah, you're all over it. It was great.
I would say going off of that, the other thing that I would like to think about is like if we can't do a women's division because of whatever reason, right? I think it would be cool to have some kind, and I'm gonna get hate for this, and I know a lot of people are not gonna like this idea, but we have a lot of women who can play, right? And we don't see it often. Unfortunately, there are some of us who are blessed to play more than others, but um, if we're not going to go the way of a women's division, it would be cool to see the fact that we would require teams to play at least one woman um, at a time, right? And so, one of your fielders, one of your six fielders, maybe there is a requirement that one of them has to be a woman, and why not? Because ultimately, we're right in what we're saying in the fact that they are stronger than us. They're built differently. They're chemically built differently than us. And so they will do, certain things better than we can. But there's absolutely no reason that a woman can't field just as well as a man. And so I would love to see women playing more both sides of the ball. But if we have to get women involved somehow and it's not in a women's division, I would love to see it mandatory that a woman is playing at all times on the field at least. I don't think that's where we should stop, but if we want to start somewhere and, we need to start somewhere. And if that's the place to start, then, maybe we throw that out there and see what happens with that.
That's not a horrible idea. Like, most definitely. Like you said, like there's no way when we can't go out there and feel just the same way. I mean, you were the second highest short player out there, Ashley. She had 14 putouts out there this in Vegas, and that was the second highest putouts made by all players, man and female. And she got second in the short position. So you can go out there and ball out 100%. There's no way we can't. We just don't get the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely a lot to think about. So, beat ball community, I hope you're listening to these ladies here. I think they're making some great points. As far as women's sports in general, I did want to ask you ladies, obviously look at like a Caitlin Clark, kind of the popularity of women's basketball has really risen the last couple years. Any particular female athletes that you look up to?
I'm gonna probably put my foot in my mouth here, but I watch a lot of sports. I've been around sports my entire life, both playing and just watching. But I watch a lot of male-dominated sports, to be completely honest. That's really bad that I cannot think of a female athlete right now. Shame on me for sure. But that's my honest answer. I watch a lot of football, getting into more and more basketball, but I really only watch, men's basketball. And so that's shame on me, but that's my answer.
Hey, I appreciate your honesty, and maybe it is, in a way, somewhat of a stereotype, so...
For sure, I'm feeding into the stereotype 100%, but oops.
You're good. Faith and Dakota, anything from you guys?
I don't really stray too far away from that either. I don't really watch sports too heavy. And if so, it's male dominated, or I'm watching running or gymnastics, and I don't have a particular athlete that I look up to in particular or anything like that, I guess. Or female athlete.
I don't watch sports as much as I used to. I used to be heavily into basketball. And I'm horrible now. I can't remember her name, but Swoops, and she had like a whole shoe after her back in the like 90s or something like that.
Cheryl Swoops, I think.
Yep, that's her. Cheryl Swoops,
Yep.
that's right. So I looked up to her back then, but I haven't kept up with her since I stopped watching basketball and staying into. I still, talk noise to people. Oh yeah, let's go Mavericks, but I don't keep up with it, not nearly as much as I did when I was younger.
Boo.
Okay.
The Mavs made a mess of the Mavs. Okay, they do not
Okay, we're
deserve
not
it.
talking about this. We're not doing this. We are not doing this.
All right, so then before we wrap up here, I just wanted to give you guys the chance to mention if people are interested in whether it is the Vixens or just kind of beat baseball in general, how they can kind of learn more about beat ball or get involved. Any kind of resources, websites you want to mention?
Well, if you're interested in beat baseball in general, there's always NBBA.org. You can find everything there. Teams and team contacts, any type of documents, forms, or anything there. If you're in the Austin, Texas area and you're looking for a team, the Austin Blackhawks, whether you want to be a volunteer or a player. Oh Lord, I don't remember the website. Hold on. I know this. I believe it's sportsvision2020.org. That's our website. Or you could just look us up on Facebook and, somebody will get back to you if you're interested. That's my plug.
I'll do the same shout out for the Philadelphia Fire. If you're in the Philadelphia area or surrounding areas close enough, you can reach out to us looking up our Facebook page, the Philadelphia Fire Beat Baseball, and follow us, send us a message on there. We'll get back to you on that. And then the Vibin Vixens also have a Facebook page that you can reach out to us on. And that is just Vibin Vixens as well. It's not Beat Ball or anything like that, just Vibin Vixens.
We have an email, right? What is it, Dakota?
Oh, yeah. Vibinvixens@gmail.com.
Awesome.
The other email I'll just throw out there, if you don't know how to find the NBBA on Facebook, you can also email outreach@nbba.org. You can ask about teams in your area or questions you may have on teams. So also lots and lots of ways for you to get involved, and we'd love for more competition, more people to get involved. So look us up.
Nice. And as always, I'll definitely include links to all those sites and email addresses in the show notes for everyone to have as well. All right. Well, again, I definitely want to thank Ashley Melero, Faith Penn, and Dakota Hogwood for joining us here on Eyes Free Sports. Really enjoyed this conversation. Really appreciate your time. And congrats to the Vixens on that 4th place finish at the Viva Las Beatball. Now I got the name right, tournament that was recently held. And thanks again, and good luck to you ladies in 2025 here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you for having us. Definitely was awesome.
To hear more episodes of the Eyes Free Sports podcast and to subscribe, search for Eyes Free Sports on your favorite podcast platform or visit eyesfreesports.com. Be sure to follow the Eyes Free Sports podcast at facebook.com/eyesfreesports and on Twitter @eyesfreesports.